So in this video, we're going to look at the 2.0 firmware in the Deluge, and we're going to see how we can use the arranger mode. What's arranger mode? Well, let's say we have a bunch of loops set up, and we want them to play in a certain order for a certain amount of time. Before song mode, you would hold this down, and then you'd tell it how many times it would play, and then would go to the next one down. The only problem is there were 12 section colors you can choose from. Now there still are 12 section colors, but you can really expand everything now that we have arranger mode. As you might know, we're in song view, so it's a solid blue light here, and we see each section color. So you look over here, and we have blue, and it's going across 3 tracks, and we have pink and orange. So with that, we can actually go in, we can press play. I have that unmuted, all these are muted. Okay, so we have an idea of the different pieces that we have. So we have the drums, which is kit 5A, it shows here. And then we have a synth, that's preset 4. And then we have a bass preset 2. So before we get into anything, I'm just going to show you how to make a new section. So I'm just going to take this orange one here, and I'm just going to duplicate by pressing the track and then pressing on an empty space. And we have now a new color. So you can even do this while it's playing. And this is how I made all of these. So I just switched it right over to this one, and now I can press this knob and then back, and it clears the pattern. And let's take out the bass too. Just go a little lower. Okay, so I'm just gonna record that, press record, and then just play it out. Okay. And now I'll go into this part and just come up with a really quick lead. Okay, so I like that. And now we have 4 different sections. So that's kind of how you can go in. I can go in and change like the drum kit or whatever I want, really. So let's just switch it out to something else. Okay, so there's just another kit playing on that one. So obviously we can go through, you can change the lengths of each track here, and just really experiment and get into each section that you're going to be using. If we want to go to arranger, we just press this. It's going to blink. So that indicates that we are in song view. So when you're looking at song view, what happened is it took all those instruments and all those instances that we made, and it compressed them to one line. So how do we know what the first line is? Well, we press it, we hear a little sound coming through, and it's reminding us it's kit 5A. So that was our first drum. So if I insert something, now it inserts the color that we're on. So currently we're on blue. So I can just play that out. Let's say I want it to play 4 times. So I press play, and now it's just playing that 4 times. So what I can do, let's say I want to move this over or something, you hold it down, and then you just turn the knob and it just pulls it one way or the other. So let's say I'm always going to want that to play 4 times. So I can actually, we see the head here, which is brighter, and then the tail. So if I press on the tail, it's going to show the track. So from here, let's say I want that to play 4 times. So I can double it. So I press shift and then I press down on this knob. So that duplicated it. So now it's playing 2 times. Let's duplicate that one more time. Shift, press down the knob. And now we have 4 instances. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have that playing. So whenever I want it to play, it's going to go 4 times. So it's only one button press, whereas otherwise I would have had to press it 4 times every single time. So this is just to save time. Now let's say we just want that to play 2 times. So you just hold that down, press this tail, and it chops it right off. So if you hold that down, you can change it to as long or as short as you want. But here's the thing, when you add another one, it's always going to be that default length that we chose in that other screen. So I'm leaving that at 4, and now we're just going to insert this. Let's listen to what it sounds like. So yeah, that's cool, but I want that also to go 4 times. So I'm just going to go and duplicate this 2 times. Now, when you're actually working in song view and you're in a section and you're working on something, when you feel like you're done, you can just extend it that way. Just go into the track and extend it. You can do any length of any track that you want. So it's pretty cool, different sounds and different combinations you can come up with. I'm just showing the most basic. So going back into song view, we're going to just add this one, and that's the bass, which is synth 2 because I'm pressing it. Now it only shows that as one instance of it. So we're just going to duplicate 2 times, and now there we are. We're going to play this pattern, which is blue, 4 times. Okay, so that's how that works. Now let's say we want the next color to come in, so we're gonna just add them there and turn it to the left, and now we can see the color change. Again, we're looking at just one instance, so we're just going to duplicate it and duplicate it. Now again, when I'm working on it per loop, I will probably just set the length for each one. So I don't have to do this every time. Now I'm going to zoom out here, and now we can see what's going on in a smaller view. Let's say we want it to go back to blue. We'll just have that play 1 time, for example. So I'm just chopping off the tails. So now from the blue, we can turn the knob, and now we have back to pink. Let's make that short too. So we're just pressing the head, chopping off the tail. Next, let's go back to blue. And now I want this to go back to pink, so I'm going to hold that down. And again, I'm just shortening this because you have to either make your tracks long or short. I say it's easier to duplicate it the amount of time that you want things to go, just so you can keep up with it. If you want to start from this line here, like if we're scrolled over here, just hold down this knob, press play. So let's check this short part. Let's see how it sounds. And then I want this to be orange. So I'm just going to press this, and I'm going to turn left, and there we are, orange. Let's have that. I want that to play out this long. Instead of going in and duplicating, I can just do it that way too. Let's say you want no drums for that part and want drums that come in at that part. And let's say chop off the drums at the end there. And then for here, we'll turn it off, etc. And that way we can see, we can really start molding our song. Okay, so let's say we want this drum part in this exact section that we're looking at here. Let's say we want that to be chopped down, and then I want to go into here, and then I want to make this into a drum fill that's its own separate color. So what you would do, you can actually just press shift and then press the head, and now it turns white. What a white instance is you would imagine it as a blank frame. So when you're in the white mode, you can actually change the length of it the same way, but what that does is it doesn't loop what was already set up. It actually sets the length. And you can use this, for example, like leads, but I will show how that works later. Okay, so all you have to do is press shift and then the blue, and now it turns white. If we go in here, we have the drum, and I'm just going to add, say, a whole bunch of snares right there at the end. Now we can actually press down on this knob, press play. So you can go in and modify things. Now, if you can remember, we have another track down here, which was a different drum kit. So now I can draw the green in. And let's say we want it to go back to that color. So I'm just holding down on the different colors if I want to switch it out. So you can just sit here and paint out your songs if you want. Another thing I want to mention now, when we're in song mode, if you press cross screen button, it's going to start following it. Let's just hold down this knob to play from here and press play. With the cross screen on, it's going to follow the cursor. So you can make a song using that. Or you could just have it off and then it will not follow the cursor. If you want to mute any of these tracks, you could just press them and it just cuts it out. You can also solo by holding down this knob and pressing it. Now I can go as far as I want, so it's pretty extensive. If you want to move an instrument that you know, let's say I have the drums down here and the other drums up here, I want to keep the drums kind of together, you can just hold it down on the audition pad and move it right up. So as you can see, the drums just slid right up. Okay, so let's say we want to do a lead, so I'm just going to go into our normal mode here. I'm going to add a new track. And we're just going to flip through the synths. Okay, so I'm going to use that synth, and let's go back to song view. And let's say we want to add something during like a more complex arrangement. What I'm going to do is add an instance right here, a step before I wanted to work on a lead. So what I'm going to do is turn it right, and now it's going to turn white, as you can see. So I want that to extend like this long, for example. So what we do now is we go into here, and you can see the length here. So what that's doing is once I'm in that white tail, it's starting right where I told it to, right here, when you press play. So you don't even have to hold down this knob and press play. You can just be right here. And let's say we want to go on this keyboard here. And we'll just press record and press play. And now we can add that lead. So it's probably done by now. What I can do is just go back into here, turn off the keyboard. We can see all the notes that I just played. So if I press play in this view, we're going to start at that spot. So what I can do, let's say I want this to be reusable. So right now, though it's white because we drew like a frame of what we wanted. We just hold this down, press song. So we're saying put that into a new track into song. So that's what it does. And now we have a new track. It has its own color. You can see it right there. And it's inserted right where you were holding down. So back in the arranger view, now we see that it's that color. So you can add it, let's say add it at the end here. So let's say we add it right here, we can definitely do that. And now let's hold down this knob, press play a little bit before. Now it's just that lead part. So as you can see, you can do a lot of cool stuff with this.